What's up, healthy people? We have Davie Rickenbacker on call with Dr. Randy. What's good, bro?
Yes, sir. What's up, Nope, man? Good to see you out here in these podcast streets. I am very thankful to be here talking with you today.
Appreciate you for being on. So, for those who don't know, we're both men of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So,
Yo,
if you
to the
want
Noops.
to,
As a matter of fact, our my chapter's charter day was yesterday. So shout out to the any Lighthouse Noops listening to right now.
okay, that's
Yeah,
what's up. That's what's up. Happy anniversary to y'all too.
appreciate it,
So,
man.
I want to have Davie on to talk about his time of him being on Survivor. He was
Okay.
on season, I think it was 37.
Yep. Season
Of
37.
Survivor. It was in Fiji, correct?
Yeah, man. Season 37, David versus Goliath. We were in Fiji, but most of the seasons are in Fiji now. Back in the day, Survivor used to go to China, Africa, so and so. But when they got around to season 29, that's when they realized it was a bit of a tax write-off and they could just stay in Fiji. So yeah, we just been in Fiji for the last 10 or some years now.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I
Yep.
kind of casually watched from a distance, and I always thought that
Mhm.
they were choosing different destinations. But I guess that tax write-off, you can't beat that.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, dude, I don't know if you want this story now, but I've got a funny story about me in Fiji and Survivor and the CDC whenever we get to it.
Okay, we'll come back to that story later.
Okay.
So,
All
I
right.
mean, what made you get on the show? Is this something that you always wanted to do? You've been watching since you were a kid.
Man.
You needed to go there and get a tax write-off for yourself. Like, what made you get on Survivor?
Man, I'm telling you, dude, when you're growing up and you hear that representation matters, you don't think anything of it. But
Mhm.
then when you get to a point in your life where you can pay it forward and you can see where it's brought you, then you know that it's done something for you. So when I was about actually, let me not try to name what age I was, but I know it was like grade school. And
Mhm.
I'm from Orangeburg, South Carolina, which is predominantly black town in South Carolina. We've got two HBCUs there. South Carolina State University and Claflin University are both there. And mine and my family were at church one Sunday, and during the church announcements, those black church announcements, you'll hear a lot of stuff in there. During our church announcements, our pastor told us, or whoever was reading the announcements told us, that we had a member from our congregation that was gonna be on the reality show Survivor. And I'm like, okay, I've never heard of that show, because this maybe have been about the fourth season that it was going on. And I didn't watch a lot of TV back then. I was more into video games and stuff. But this woman who was going on Survivor just so happened to be one of my mom. Actually, happened to be her boss, and my mom was a guidance counselor for the school district there. And this woman was attending South Carolina State to become a guidance counselor. So I'm like, Mom, let's check out this show. So, dude, we checked out the show, whatever Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it was on back then. And I just fell in love with the show, man. Seeing people out there in the wild. I'm a country boy from South Carolina. I'm like, I could do that. I could win that challenge. The only thing was, the woman that went out there, she didn't do too hot.
So
So
she wasn't out there representing South Carolina too well on the show.
right, dude. She didn't do too hot. And you know what? I won't even blame her, because back in those days, on reality TV, you'd see maybe one or two black people and about 80 white people out there. And
Mhm.
that stuff can put you at a disadvantage. I'm happy to say that it's gotten a little better now. But so she didn't do too hot, but just because seeing her out there and her getting on the show, I always said in the back of my mind, oh man, I'm gonna do that one day. I'm gonna win that one day. So hey man, that's all she wrote. Just been a fan since day one.
Okay, that's good, man. You took that as a dream as a kid. Most people kind of just say that and just keep it moving, but you actually made it into a reality. So tell me a little bit about the process, what it took for you to get actually on the show, to turn
Mm-hmm.
that dream into a reality.
Absolutely. Well, man, things have gotten easier over time when it comes to, excuse me, applying for these types of things, because back in that time, you had to have a cassette player and record your audition tape to go on the show. But now we all got iPhones, so it makes it a little more simpler.
But
Um,
not all of us. Team Android over here.
are you team Android?
Team
Oh
Android.
man.
Don't judge me, whoever's listening. I don't care what color my bubble pops up on your phone. Y'all update y'all contacts and y'all lose like 300 numbers. So leave me alone. Team Android all the way. Samsung.
Yeah, look, dude, you definitely right. Android does have its pros
Yeah.
because
So if
those
you want to sponsor
cameras.
Samsung,
Yeah.
hit me up, sponsor. Team Android.
But yeah, man. So I always knew that I wanted to apply for the show after I finished my schooling. So I went to Tuskegee University, and I received my bachelor's in environmental sciences. Then I went back and I got my master's in public health. And directly from getting my master's in public health, I landed. God blessed me with a job at the Center for Disease Control here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I was working at a division called the MMWR. I'm sure you've heard of it. The Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. We were the voice of the CDC, basically the magazine of the CDC, the journal of the CDC. And there was a lot of downtime in this position. And one day I might have been scrolling on the internet. I hope none of my coworkers are listening to this.
On his lunch break.
Yeah, on my lunch break. There we go. And a pop-up pops up. It's like, we've got a casting call for Survivor here in Atlanta. It was going to be at the Wild Safari place, which is not actually in Atlanta, but it's like closer to LaGrange. And have you ever heard of that? It's like the place where you get in a vehicle and the animals can come up to you while you drive.
Yeah. I've been there once. There once. You could get in the Jeep and you can feed the giraffes and all kind of things.
Yep. So I was like, okay, well, hey man, this might be heaven sent. Let's go ahead and go out there. And so I went out there by myself. I was like one of the only black guys out there, which was expected.
I had on a black man driving to the south end of the outskirts of Atlanta,
Georgia, right?
To go to a safari area.
Right.
Oh man, you just setting yourself up for the worst Jordan Peele movie.
That's what I was just about to say. Sound like the next episode of Donald Glover's Atlanta, huh?
Oh man, did you bring your freedom papers? Or did you leave them at home?
But no, I was familiar with this area because you gotta drive through this area to get to Tuskegee, so it wasn't too dangerous for me. So I get out there, and there's a long line. I wasn't out there too late, so I was kind of in the middle. And when I finally get up to the front, I'm thinking I'm about to be interviewed. I'm thinking I'm about to get asked questions. No, it was not. They basically put you in front of a camera and they say, okay, go. I'm like, what? No instructions, no anything. They're just like, tell us about yourself. And that's it. So you just got to, so I just, I kind of just do what I do, regularly. Told them where I was from. I tried to be funny here and there, but basically I bombed that freaking casting call. And I say that to say, I don't think casting calls are the way. And that was my wake up to say, Davie, if you're serious about doing this, you need to be intentional in your meetings and you need to make a casting tape. And that's when I got my iPhone buddies together and we recorded the casting tape, man. And lo and behold, sent that thing in within a week. Within a week, dude, they called me and they're like, Davie, we like you and we want to fly you to LA. So
what did you have on this casting tape that you feel like just caught their attention so much where they called you back so fast?
Dude, so like in the first 15 seconds, and this is something, if anyone's listening and you're wanting to apply to a reality show, the first 15 seconds in your casting tape will make you or break you. So the first 15 seconds, I don't know if you've ever been to this park, Sweetwater. It's out by Six Flags. But I'm out there with my dog, my Siberian Husky, and I've got him running in front of me. And I've got, sleeveless shirts. I got a machete on my side. And then my friend says, action. And I'm like, what did I say? I'm Davie Rickenbacker from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and I'm your next survivor. And then I howled, and then my dog howled with me.
What's up, America? I'm Davie Rickenbacker from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and I'm the next survivor.
So you can imagine
Okay. You
a
put
black
on a full
guy,
production.
right? Exactly, man. But yeah, man, for the rest of my tape, I cosplay, which I'm sure you know, but for your listeners, I cosplay, I do voice acting. I'm, a bit of a blurred, which is a black nerd for people who haven't heard of it. I showed them a little bit of my workings with the CDC, showed them some frat life stuff. I showed them, that I know how to swim, breaking those stereotypes. I basically just kind of showed them who I was. Now I did have a production major with me, so she helped feed me lines here and there. So, you got a strong support team, they'll get you through. And dude, lo and behold, man, they liked me. They flew me right out to LA, and we did some vigorous interviews for about a week. So I'm kind of had to play hooky for my job, but we did some things out there for a week, and they didn't tell me that I was going to be on the show yet. They said, we like you, you'll hear from us. Didn't hear from them for about 4 or 5 months.
Ooh, that's
and
a
then
long time.
a long time, dude. And then when I finally did hear from them, they said, Davie, we don't think you're going to make it on this season, but we're going to put you down as an alternate. And dude, that was devastating. So I'm like, okay, they're telling me that I'm going to be an alternate just because they're not going to pick me. And that's just what they tell people when they don't want to tell them no.
They hit you with that, you're a really nice guy, but there's somebody else out there who's better for me.
Exactly. And that's exactly it, dude. I'm like, what better black guy they got out there better than Davie Armstrong Rickenbacker?
I'm running around here with a machete. I got a wolf on my side. Who better than me?
But lo and behold, I know now, because as I finish the story, the alternate thing did actually work for me, because the guy who they had out there was not fit for it and he quit. So 2 days before the game starts, they call me. They say, Davie, if you're ready, we can fly you out here to Fiji. And dude, I got a strong family support system. I had to quit the CDC. I was working in global health at that point, which was like kind of the place that I wanted to be in the CDC. But dude, it was like either your dream job or chasing your dream. And I chose my dreams.
How long was the time period between you getting that alternate call till the call that said that you were going to be on the show?
That was probably like a month. Yeah.
Okay.
So like a month in between there. And the guy that they had out there, they chose him because he was one of the children of one of the past players. So that's the only reason he beat me out. But it's okay. Because, it all worked out the way it was supposed to.
How excited were you when you got that call?
Dude, I freaking screamed so loud, jumping up and down in the living room. My dog, who doesn't know what the heck's going on, he's like, what, are we ready to attack? I'm screaming. I lost my voice, so much so that I didn't even have a voice the first few days that I was in Fiji, which really could have ended up biting me in the behind if I hadn't got it back when I did, because they'll look for any reason to vote off.
Like, we don't like him. He don't talk to nobody.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Right.
I lost my voice, man. So 2 days before, so you didn't really get a chance to like train before going.
No, actually, dude, and that's why I was just always training. I was just trying to, I got a little LA Fitness membership. I did have a personal trainer at one point. So, I'll kind of just try to stay in it, because that's one thing about me, dude, and the power of manifestation. I knew I would always be on this show. It was just a matter of when. So, I just continued to train. And even my mom, she was like, Davie, you know what? I bet I didn't even tell her about the alternate call when they said no, because I just thought it was going to be no. But she was like, I bet they're going to call. Bet they're going to call. Lo and behold, 2 days they called. So dude, I was just always preparing for it, man. That's the way it's got to be. As a matter of fact, I'm preparing to go back out on some reality TV shows in the future. You know, you just don't want to miss a beat. I don't have any definite, plans to do so, but you never know when they may call.
Okay. So when you go out there, what was it like for you day one, night one?
Oh, man. So, remember when I told you that back early in the days, it was like one black person? Well, I went into the mindset thinking that I was going to be that one black person. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, there were 4 black people on my season. There were 4, man. Right.
Who invited all of y'all?
Exactly. Right. I'm like, what? Hold on. I got to rethink my game plan because I didn't plan for this. Mm-hmm. So for your listeners who have never seen Survivor before, the premise is they put 20 strangers on an island. You've got 2 teams or 3 teams, but this season it was 2 teams. And the theme of my season was David versus Goliath. So the David tribe, which I was a part of, were 10 strangers who, have had to get it out the mud their entire life, have had to work for things, have had to, they maybe have been faced with adversity in their life. They may have been picked on in high school. So I was a part of that tribe. And then there was the Goliath tribe, which was consisting of people who, I don't want to say have been privileged, but, they kind of have, they've lived a better lifestyle.
Born with a silver spoon.
There we go. Born with a silver spoon. We had an NFL cheerleader over there, a WCW wrestler, a movie star, a Hollywood director, so CEO magazine. They had all the people over there. So it was like the premise was David's versus Goliath's. So that first day being out there, man, I'm looking around on my tribe and I see that, we got some people who may not be as strong as the Goliath's tribe. So I'm a little nervous, I'm thinking we might lose every challenge in the beginning of the game. But dude, it's all about the connections that you make out there. Like I said, I've made some of the best friends that I'll ever make out there on Survivor. And for me, growing up in a predominantly black city, going to an HBCU, I had never really had, outside of work, much interactions with non-black people. So this was a bit of a culture shock for me. I had to, figure out, how to make alliances with people where I would normally be able to do so quickly with people who have always been around, but I had to navigate that stuff, man. But, all in all, those first few days worked out better for me than others because when I got there, and I don't know if you ever got a chance to watch yet, but we're on Netflix and we're on Hulu. So if you haven't, then check that out. But the first 3 days, I caught a freaking octopus, dude. I'm just out in the ocean, walking around, praying to God, please send me something so these white folk don't vote my black ass off. And they know I'm a provider. And lo and behold, I caught an octopus. So those first few days were good for me, man.
How did you catch an octopus?
How did I catch a freaking octopus, dude? Yeah. Honestly, dog, it was the grace of God, man. I really was out there. And that's why I say I had some, eye-opening experiences out there, man. Some prophetic things that even happen out there for me, it's like you trust these people, but these people will also vote you out. So the only person you can really trust, the only person you can really talk to that you can depend on was my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I was just always talking to him, man. And I was like, God, dude. And I freaking looked down. Right after that prayer, I looked down. There's a freaking octopus chilling on a freaking stump in the water while I have a spear in my hand. And I was just like, that's it.
The octopus just having a good day, man. I'm just out here chilling, sunbathing. Man, about to go home and see the wife and kids. Got a day off. Oh, what's up, Davie? Oh, no.
Oh, that's you. You were sitting here for me, right?
Yes. I know the Lord works in mysterious ways. but don't take me out, Lord.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it was a hell of an experience, dude.
Oh man, so I know you talked about kind of the mindset going out there. You knew that you probably may be one of the few Black people and trying to navigate those waters. What was your original game plan going out there from an interaction standpoint?
hmm Well, my game plan before I realized there were going to be a lot of Black people out there, and not just Black people, but we had some Asian Americans on our season. We had some Hispanic Americans on our season. Like our season, Survivor has gotten more diverse since our season, but our season was one of the seasons who were the first to take diversity seriously. So it wasn't just me and a whole bunch of white people. It was a melting pot.
This was
And
pre George Floyd.
this was pre George Floyd, and I'll have to tell you a story after I answer this question, because the Black Survivor alums, we got together during the wake of George Floyd, and we are the reasons that Survivor is more diverse now. But I'll get into that a bit later. But my game plan, going into it was to, just be my jovial Davie self, maybe hype it up a little bit for different type of audiences, different type of ages, play into the token Black guy if I need to, whatever I know the cameraman, whatever I know the producers might want, because, pleasing the producers is another thing that people don't realize that will help you get further in the game. It's just like in a job, man. If you go into the job and you give it your all, and not saying you be a teacher's pet to your boss, but you be on your boss's good side, things are gonna look up for you. So I kind of just had that mindset going into it. On the David tribe, I might have been maybe the biggest guy there, so I knew they needed me in the challenges in the beginning. So I just tried to perform well in as well in the challenges as possible. Always, gathering firewood, always out there trying to fish. Although the only thing we did catch that whole time I was there was the octopus. Trying to make fire where I could, and most importantly, just trying to build bonds with people, man. And not in a schemy way, like I'm only talking to you because I want you to help me get far in Survivor. But finding out about people's lives, finding out about their loved ones back home, finding out about what they do for a living. It's really a lot like if you would approach your daily life at work, for me at least.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you were having legitimate conversations with some of the other contestants, trying to get to know them from a personal standpoint.
Absolutely, man. My closest ally in the game actually ended up, spoiler alert, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually ended up winning the game. And we bonded over the fact that, and this is a white boy, we bonded over the fact that his fraternity's name was Kappa Chi or something like that. And I was like, bro, we both Kappas, man. So we just bonded over, being young frat boys, and he was from Kentucky, I was from down south, and we really just linked really good like that. But yeah, man, always just talking to people, and you never know what you may have in common with anyone until you say those words to them.
All right. So kind of go back to the octopus thing, because I'm assuming y'all have to eat. You have to get nutrients to stay healthy during this whole aspect. I mean, this is a health podcast, so I want to talk a little bit about what were you doing nutrient-wise, and was the show giving y'all a little bit of food on the side? If y'all look like y'all are skin and bones, were you out there eating crickets? What did you do to get all your nutrients?
Right, dudes. You let the audience tell it. They think we're filmed in a Hollywood studio. But anyway, but no, man. Survivor is really conscious about their players in the game and the health of their players in the game. So with the octopus, first of all, before the game starts, They give us a manual that tells you the type of animals that you can and cannot kill, the types of plants that you can and cannot eat, the types that are poisonous. So you do have to go to school, so to say, before the game starts, because they want you to be safe as possible. They don't want to die. I mean, they don't want you to die because, you're going to sue them.
Yeah, it's like, do the poisonous berries come in threes or twos?
Right, dude. As a matter of fact, whenever you're watching the show, and sometimes they'll cut to a snake, and sometimes they'll cut to a lion or something like that. That stuff's not out there. That's just B-roll that they're using from wherever they were. But here's that bill collector's calling me, thinking I won $1 million on Survivor. But yeah, but yeah, man. So they have you go through that course in the beginning, and the producers are always on standby. So if by chance they saw that catching that octopus, that it wasn't safe, they wouldn't have let us eat it. Again, they wouldn't have given us anything either, but we would have still had to find it for ourselves. Another thing is, there's a thing out there called the mailbox, which we would have to say on camera. It would be called the coconut tree or the grove or something. And you have a med box. If you're taking pills, if you're taking medication, you're allowed to, of course, take that stuff out there. The women have to do their thing out there. So they have that stuff in the med box. They have a package for each of us daily where we'll have to, take some type of, I'm not even sure what it was, but it was probably my favorite meal of the day because it was sugary and sweet, and we would put it in our water bottles. They made it sure that we were drinking up to 1 gallon of water a day. So yeah, the Survivor is hard, it's grueling, but you can trust the production department to make sure you're going to be okay. At one point in the game, I had made it so far where I noticed that all of our coconuts were gone. And so we went to a challenge, and then we came back, and there's coconuts everywhere. So I'm pretty sure they bought those coconuts for us. They just didn't say that. They give us a big bag of rice that's supposed to last us so many days. And there's always opportunities for us to win food on the rewards that we go into. But, in the back of my mind, part of me went on Survivor 2 to lose a little bit of weight. And I lost 36 pounds while I was out there, dude. 36. And I was out there for 36 days, which means I lost a pound a day.
Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude.
How grueling was it to do some of those challenges when you're not at your healthiest as far as nutrient wise, energy wise, strength wise? How challenging was it for you?
Yeah, man, that stuff was not easy. Like I said, they take your health very seriously. So before and after each challenge, we all see the show's doctor. Individually, one by one, we let them know if we're having any issues, which this is probably what I'll talk about for the hardest thing for me whenever we get to that question. But they make sure that you're good to go in the challenges. But dude, even just sitting down and standing up, you would feel lightheaded because you're only eating like once a day. It's definitely not healthy, the ideal healthy lifestyle, but your body can do it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. Well, yeah, actually, I would recommend it because we need more Black folk out there. But it's just one of those things that's mind over matter, man. And you see the people who were before you that have done it and have done it well. And then, of course, the caveat is you could win $1 million out there. So, yeah, man. But those challenges, I wouldn't say any of the challenges were particularly too hard for me, but for
boss.
But for a lot of people, there would be people who would get lightheaded and have to sit down for a while, and we would have to stop the challenges. We didn't have too many water challenges, but they made sure that all of us were able to swim before we went out there, and even if we were a beginner level swimmer, they've got so many people in the water during those challenges. There's no way that there can be any type of mishap out there, dude. I was shell shocked when I first went out there the first day, and we get on this boat, and there's like a million cameramen out there, man. Like, there's no way there's going to be any type of accidents on that show. They do not want to be sued for that.
So what were some of the challenges that y'all had to do?
Yeah, man. So, we did a lot of puzzle challenges. We did some relay races here and there. A lot of we did one swimming challenge that ended up in a basketball showdown, which just so happened that me and the only other brother left in the game, my boy Carl, we happened to be on the same team. So we dominated that one.
Y'all better have. If y'all
right,
didn't,
dude. I said that in my confession. I was like, if we didn't win that, they were gonna take our black cards, man.
Man, definitely. Y'all both would have got voted off so easily. Losing the basketball challenge.
But I'm gonna make you laugh. How about? Do you know what the prize was for this challenge?
I don't. I hope it's not chicken. Please.
It was fried chicken and beer.
Oh man, y'all out here.
One step forward, two steps back.
Man, y'all out here hooping for the Colonel. Man, he's sitting there watching y'all. Look at him, balling for my chicken.
Right. Oh man. But yeah, man. There was another challenge, and I'm just spoiling the whole show at this point, but hopefully your listeners will still circle back and give it a listen, man. There was one challenge that was a word relay race where we had to go through a series of racing, balance being, climbing things, untying knots, and then the person that makes it to the end, you have to make a word. And I got to the end there, man, and the only other brother on the side, he came up with a 7-letter word that was not the word, but it clued me in on some syllables, because I play a lot of Scrabble. My mom had us playing Scrabble when we were younger, with the Words with Friends generation, and I was able to get it, man. And the thing that was so special about that challenge is not the fact that I won it, which of course I'm happy that I won that challenge. But I thought the special thing was about, changing perspectives of this. This show is a predominantly, the audience is predominantly white. So when you see these young black men who are breaking stereotypes, able to swim, out here killing it in word puzzles, I'm sure we're debunking some stereotypes in non-black people's minds. And I just think that's something that's just so beautiful, man. And not even just the adult minds, but the kid minds as well. And that's why it sounds cliche, dude, but representation, man, representation in all forms of human endeavor go very far.
Right. Before going out there, did you realize that may happen? You breaking down those stereotypes that other individuals may have of you as a black individual?
Absolutely, dude. That's something. So I've always been a fan of reality shows, not just Survivor, but The Real World was a big one I was into. The Challenge was a big one I was into when I was younger. I've even watched some of the other ones like America's Next Top Model here and there. And I would see, they would not represent us well all the time. And I don't know if that was even them doing it, or maybe the way that production worked back then, they wanted to steamroll black people into certain roles, into certain stereotypes. So that was a goal of mine going out there, man. It's shifting the conversation. I wanted to debunk stereotypes about black people, but I also wanted to debunk stereotypes about being a nerd, because I was out there as the blurred, and I wanted to show them that you can be athletic, you can provide for people, and you can debunk all those things. And although I did not win the $1 million, because I did those things, it was definitely a fulfilling experience for me.
You feel like the whole atmosphere was welcoming to you out there, that you could be yourself, or did you feel like you had to go into a different character to possibly win this show?
Oh, I definitely had the code switch here and there. Trust me. Um, there were moments where, you know,
Davey, what's code switching?
so code switching for the listeners who may not know, which I don't know predominantly what your audience is, but
Oh, they know.
oh, okay.
For
Code
those
switching
new
is
listeners.
right. You've kind of got to you're being yourself, but you're being your most a professional self or cleanly self, because other cultures may not be able to relate to your authenticity. I think I explained that pretty well.
Yeah. Sometimes they can't handle all the blackness.
Exactly. There we go. But at the same time, I knew when to bring that stuff out. I knew when to be authentically Black Davie Rickenbacker. Like I would do that in the confessionals because no one's watching me. You know, I'm only doing it for the camera. And I think that's one of the things that, you know, grew my fan base, because those people, as I finished the show, they really loved me in those confessionals. I think there was one time, this is one of my favorite ones, where they had to evacuate us because we were living in a freaking it's not called
hurricane, tsunami area.
Yeah, a tsunami. Yeah.
Mhm.
There was literally that's still not what it's called, but something like a tsunami was going on, and they had to evacuate us. And they're giving me a confessional while there's rain coming down, there's limbs falling, and I'm like, I turn around, I'm like, Joe, I'm ready to go get my black ass out of here. So look, I knew when to turn it on and when to turn it off, and they actually put that in the episode. Would you believe it or not? But yeah, man, all in good fun.
And they had to evacuate y'all from the island for that.
Yeah, dude. They evacuated us twice in the game. Now they didn't show that really in the show, but at some point there was just literally it's I can't think of what it's called. I think it starts with a T, but literally whatever type of storm it was out there was the equivalent of a hurricane in the States. So literally, I survived a hurricane, a tsunami. Yeah, man.
You went out there and survived more than you thought you was gonna do.
Survived more than I ever would have thought it was, and do. And that's one thing now, man. Now it's like after you did this show, now I'm chasing that high, which I need to kind of calm it down a bit, because on my COVID birthday, I went skydiving, chasing that thrill, man. It's just one of those things. Once you do it, you want that feeling again.
Right. So you talked a little bit about the physical standpoint on how the show changed you. How did it change you from a mental standpoint when you were on the show? Did you start feeling more anxious, depressed, or agitated? Because I know it takes a lot out of you being on that show.
Dude, so, and I'm glad you're here. I can say this to you, and this is the explanation I tell to a lot of people, and some people don't get it because they're not Greek, but because you're Greek, you're gonna get it, dude. Survivor is, and for all the Greek listeners, first of all, let me just say Kappa Alpha Psi is a non-hazing organization, but if it was, let me just let you think about how this analogy would work.
Everything is in quotation marks. So we talked about this.
Right. So look, dude, I always tell people Survivor is like pledging a fraternity without them putting their hands on you. So it's all mental. Imagine, just if you can imagine it, imagine pledging a fraternity and everything is mental. Nothing is physical. That was Survivor for me, dude. That was, trying to figure out if these people are lying to me, trying to figure out if I'm doing the right thing so that production, continues to help me get far in the game. Reading these clues and reading these riddles and trying to make sure they're not things that are placed in the game to get my black ass out of here just for TV. It's a I don't know if I can cuss on your podcast, but it's a mind F. Okay. But yeah, dude, I mean, even with the physical, that something that I wanted to mention that I forgot, the most grueling thing out there, and this kind of could tie in with the mental health as well, was chafing. experiencing chafing as an adult on Survivor is the freaking worst. So imagine you're going through that while you're having people lie to you, while you're lying to people. Trust me, Survivor was fun, but it had its moments.
Right. So what did you witness in other people? Were anybody on the show that you feel like was having kind of mental breakdowns, being away from their friends, being away from their family? You're trying to go to sleep and you hear somebody crying in the distance.
Oh man, dude, there was so much of that. Even there was even some romance kindling out there, which is very weird. Because we won't go too much into that. But yeah, man. So there were a couple parents out there with me, and they were missing their kids here and there. But that's the thing. People know how to play this game. They know you're not really supposed to wear your emotions on your sleeves. So I didn't know this was happening out there while I was there. But once I watched the episodes back, I could see that people were going through it in their confessionals, crying, missing their children, doing certain things. Like, I played Survivor for me. I don't have a family. I mean, I don't have an immediate family outside of, my parents and my brothers, but I don't have my own family. All I've got is my Siberian Husky Rufio. So I was just playing for me and him, but these people were out there playing for their wives, their children. And I think that's one thing that if I was to go back again, that I hope I experienced, because it's like having a different experience. And I think sometimes that little bit of drive could have helped push me a little more further towards the end.
Okay. Do you feel like you were accurately portrayed on the show when you went back and looked at it? Like, man, that's not what happened, or that's not what I did.
Dude, this is a great segue to that story I was going to tell you about during the George Floyd, in the wake of George Floyd. So, believe it or not, and you don't realize this immediately because everyone's their own worst critic with these things. So at first, I was thinking maybe they were forcing me to be the comic relief just because I was the black guy and they were trying to pigeonhole me into that. But as the game continued, they showed my strategic paralysis well. So I am probably, out of all of the black people who have gone on Survivor, I'm probably one of the ones that, had one of the better edits. And I say that to say Survivor has had a history of not giving great edits where they would have black women on there and they would steamroll them into having attitudes. They would have black men on there and they would steamroll them into kind of being the workhorse or kind of being, difficult to work with. And so because of all of that, we tried to take momentum from the George Floyd movement, and us, the black alumni, we got together and we started a petition. And on that petition, we had a number of things that we wanted CBS to address. The stereotypes, the ratio when it came to blacks versus whites versus other minorities, even not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera as well, having more black people in production, having more black people in the medical area, because even with the psychologists that we have out there, you want to be able to talk to somebody that looks like you. Some things you can't say, that, in the medical field, some things you can't say. You feel better when you see someone that looks like you and you can open up to them. So we started this petition and we got so many signatures, dude. We got so many signatures that CBS granted us a meeting. We had a meeting with them. And what we were asking for was 30% or more black indigenous people of color on the show, and they did even better than that, dude. So from now on, Survivor and Big Brother and The Amazing Race and all shows on CBS all reality shows have to now cast 50% black, indigenous, or people of color on all of their seasons, dude. So
Wow.
Yeah, man. So, RIP George Floyd, that momentum, Breonna Taylor, that momentum got us to, hit him where we thought that we could, actually make some change happen. And it came great on the other side.
That's what's up. I applaud y'all for going to do that and taking that initiative and steps to do that. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's going to affect other people on those other shows in the future where they may be possibly be able to win those shows just because of the change in the background.
Oh, dude, it's already changing. The last season's winner was a Filipino Canadian woman that won, and we had never. There has been 42 seasons of Survivor. There had never been an Asian woman to win Survivor. So that change that we made has really made a difference.
Okay. Speaking of winners and losers, we know you didn't come out as the winner, but you lasted really long on the show.
Yes.
Are you proud of how you did on the show overall?
Dude, I'm so immensely proud of how I did on the show. I watch these reality shows and it's like when someone who's not black gets voted, when there's no more black people in the game, I probably, just stop watching because I need to see somebody out there. And I was glad to be that last, black person in the game throughout the whole game to give little kids a chance to, see representation out there just like I did. And I mean, I'm not lying here where I said I did a little better than the person that inspired me. So who knows? The next person that comes through from Orangeburg, South Carolina, who was rooting for Davie Rickenbacker, might take home the prize. But yeah, man, I won challenges. I found advantages in the game. I made a best friend out there. I made a family out there, and I was authentically myself, dude. And so much so that after the season, I don't know if you've heard of. You probably know the artist Sia. She's an Australian singer. Yeah, so she watches. She's a fan of Survivor, and because she saw that I was authentic to myself and my religion, she reached out to me and she gave me $15,000 just because of that.
Wow!
So that's that on top of the prize money that I won from Survivor, which we're not supposed to tell you, but everybody gets paid. I didn't really have to work for a year after that show, but dude, so man, like I said, it was a great experience. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat.
Okay. Sia, if you're listening, I am authentic as well. I will settle for 5,000. I'm not going to be greedy like David. I will only settle for 5, and I'm giving you medical information. So,
dude, you just reminded me, man. I gotta give you your props. If it wasn't for you, I might not even been on Survivor, because what the listeners don't know is Randy's my doctor, so I had to go to him in order to get the physical, in order to get my papers signed, so that I could go on Survivor. And I wanted to make sure that it was a black doctor, so that they knew, how serious this is to me, and that I could get through all of the parameters correctly. Where who knows, maybe if it was another doctor, they might not have seen, that this was a big deal to me, or seen that, I, maybe didn't. I don't know. You never know, man. But yeah. I'm just happy that I got with Randy and he was able to get me on through.
Oh yeah,
here I am today.
It's all love, man. I was going through that paperwork. There's like any tattoos or brands or something. He's like, yeah, I got some. I'm like, oh, what you got? Oh, okay, shoot. Gonna do the secret handshake right quick. Make sure we both good. Like, okay. All right. So shout out to the noobs.
That's right. Yo, to the noobs, man.
So you said you would get on again if you had the opportunity. Have you been trying to get back on? Like, what is the process with that?
So, dude, 2020 and the pandemic kind of really stopped a lot of production when Survivor was gone for like 2 years because of the pandemic. And since those 2 years, and since we started our petition, the show has kind of gone into a different direction. And the host of the show kind of wants to create this new legacy, with the 50% BIPOC rule, and they shortened the amount of days on Survivor because of the pandemic. So right now, I don't know if Survivor is going to be giving us any calls for second chances right now. In the future, I'm sure maybe season 50 or so, they'll do a Legends or a Second Chance or something like that. But right now, I have my heights, on other shows. I was on the Steve Harvey show last year. It was a dating sequence. It was a little fun little banter between me and him. Once he found out I was a Kappa, he was hating a little bit. You know how Steve Harvey is. But yeah, man, I've been applying to, always applying to other shows. Like, public health is my passion. However, I think that, this era of, social media and being able to be an influencer and make money off of that, and being able to go on reality TV and make money off of that. I think that's a area for me that where I could really excel in. I could really, even with my career and assets in public health, but combined with that, make a good living off of it. You also know I do some voice acting now, and that's some things that has propelled since the show. So it's like this show has given me so many opportunities that the sky is the limit, man. And of course, why wouldn't I do it again?
Right. More opportunities than you expected.
More opportunities. No, you know what? Like I said, I'm real big on being intentional, real big on manifesting. I think that these opportunities have always been in the back of my mind. I think that, I don't know exactly what's going to happen for me, but I know that they're going to come in, and be there for me, whatever they are. So, yeah.
We're talking about business opportunities, not
business opportunities too. Yeah. Well, that too, but that's another podcast for another day.
We'll say that for On Call After Dark. We won't bring that up right now. Bring that up right now. But I mean, I'm proud of you, all the things that you've done and coming back from Survivor. We'll let people. Do you want to tell where you finished at, or you want to just kind of leave it hanging out there so people can go and watch the show?
Well, I'll just say yes. I'm in every episode. Okay, I'll say that.
Okay. So we're gonna wrap this up with the last few questions. This is Randy's random questions. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
All right, Davie, we got you on the hot seat for Randy's random questions. If you could be on any other reality show besides what you've been on, give us the top 2 that you would hope to be on. It could be something that was not even on anymore. If you could go back and be on I Love New York, if you could be on Real World, Roll Rules Challenge, what would Davie want to be on?
Dude, if I could be on any reality show, of course, I'm a single bachelor here in Atlanta. I'd love to be, a prominent bachelor on The Bachelor. They haven't had too many black bachelors on that show. And, they have women fighting for your love. Now, maybe not fighting for your love, but, trying to, get your love. That'd be pretty cool, man. And I feel like those shows, they get more of a fan base than these competition shows. So I think that would be something cool for me. The second one, so I told you my passion is public health, but I actually went to Tuskegee to become a veterinarian. That didn't happen because how careers work and got pushed in some other ways. But I would love to just be in some type of a long-term goal of mine is to be a dog trainer for dog shows. So I would love to be like in something for Animal Planet, like a dog show or something like that. I think would be really cool. Be a debonair Kappa out there with whatever clean breed that I have. I think that's something that I could excel in.
Okay, that's what's up. Tell us quickly about your dog. What's his name? Rufio?
Yes, man. My dog Rufio out there. He's probably hearing because he's literally right there. He's probably right there listening. He's a Siberian Husky. I actually used to breed Siberian Huskies for a while. I interned in Alaska when I was at Tuskegee, and I just fell in love with the breed out there. But that's my best friend. I actually put him down as my loved one for my visit on Survivor, but they sent my mom instead, which was okay.
What kind of personality does Rufio have?
Oh man, he's kind of like a cat, honestly, dude. He marches to the beat of his own drum. If he don't want to be touched, he's gonna get out of the way. He doesn't really want to be around me too long. But whenever we're doing exercising and stuff like that, that's when we're in our elements, running and everything together. But he's not a barker really like that much. He's just cool, calm, and collective, just like his pop.
Okay. If he's like a cat, I hope he don't kill you while you're sleeping. That's what
right,
I think all cats do. Right. They're just looking at you like, I can't wait till you go to sleep.
One eye taste.
I'm going to kill him. All right. Use one word to describe Mike White.
Oh, God. One word to describe Mike White.
So I'm gonna let you give a little background on who Mike White is.
Okay.
So the listeners can understand why I said that name.
Right.
And he had a good pause right there. You didn't expect that one.
I did not. So Mike White, he's a Hollywood producer. You remember when I was talking about the Goliaths and who they had on their tribe? Mike White is a Hollywood producer. He wrote Zombieland. He wrote the Emoji Movie. He wrote this show on HBO called The White Lotus that's really good. And now, although we are friends now, when we're on the island, you know, we had a bit of a rivalry then, and he's kind of responsible for being the one that got me off the show. So one word.
So that's his arch nemesis.
Right. So I'm going to say one word in the mindset of me on the island. One word for Mike White is manipulative. And I'm going to say manipulative because he had all of these non-black folk out there, you know, so famished with, you know, so interested in who he was because he was a Hollywood producer. I didn't know who this guy was until after I got off the show. Exactly. So to where he was able to have them wrapped around his finger because they probably thought that they'd be in a movie someday. So, and not only that, but he was just Probe's friend. So, you know, but hey, we buddies now. Mike, if you're listening to this, hope I can still use your penthouse in Hawaii someday.
What word would you use to describe him now? So you use the word off the island. What word would you pick now?
He's definitely a caring person.
Okay.
You know, you think that somebody with such high status would, you know, be standoffish after the show, but no, we still text about the shows. You know, we still have meetups here and there. Actually, after our season, we did a meetup in New Orleans where he threw us this big party. You had Aubrey. I can't think of Aubrey's last name, but the
Graham. Y'all had
yes. No, not him.
Oh.
Aubrey from Parks and Recs. She was there.
Okay.
It was at Stifler's mom's house. I can't even think of her name. So, you know, I got to meet a few celebrities because of Mike. He's a caring dude, man. And, you know, I can't wait for the White Lotus season 2. It's supposed to come out this summer. So check that out.
Okay. Last question. So you like to do cosplay?
Yes, sir.
If there was one character that you could dress up as for the rest of your life, who would that character be?
Dude, okay, so you said
you can
dress
walk
up
around as Blade the rest of your life. You can be Black Superman, whoever you want to be the rest of your life. You walking in the church, you dressed up as Black Panther. Like that's you. You stuck like that the rest of your life.
Okay, so there's a lot that goes into this. I wouldn't want to be a cosplay with a mask on because I would want people to see my face. You know, I want to be clean cut because, you know, I'm a noob. I care about my appearance. Let's see. What character is like that? But I want to look cool too. I think I would be Bishop from the X-Men. That way I could change my hairstyle up sometimes. Maybe I do a Jerry curl. Maybe I do some braids because he changes his hair here and there. I get to walk around with a gun. I got a little cape on and, you know, and I got this cool something over my eye. You know what Bishop is, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. He got the scar over his eye.
Man.
I'm traveling stuff.
Right. Oh, and look, if I had his powers too.
Oh, look at you,
man.
You just couldn't dress like him. Now you want to travel back in time. You know we can't go that far back in time. You gotta go forward. Forward,
right?
1980 and beyond. That's when we good. Yes. All right. So we'll let you off the hot seat, Noob. I appreciate you sitting down and talking with me, sharing some good information about you being on the show. Go ahead if you want to throw out all your social media stuff so people can follow you online. I know you're the social media king over there.
That's so funny because my chapter calls me the social media guru. I actually run our fraternity's page too. But yeah, man. So you can follow me on Instagram at I am Davie. You can follow me on Twitter at I tweet Davie. TikTok, I'm Survivor Davie. And if you want any voiceover work, visit my website at www.davierickenbacker.com. And you know, guys, I'm out here. Hopefully you'll see me on a television screen near you.
All right, sounds good. Y'all make sure to go check him out on Netflix too as well.
That's right.
His Survivor season is on there. We're not going to spoil it and tell you when he gets off the show, but he's on there long enough that it's watchable. And
Right,
as you
right.
can
Yes,
tell,
yes.
he's very engaging and entertaining that you're going to want to make sure you watch and see him on the show.
Appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, man.